You ever have one of those days where the weather app says it's going to be a manageable 49 degrees, but then you roll your bike out into the driveway and your fingers start questioning all your life choices? Yeah, like 37 degrees today. But the folks at RIDEIRON say they've got the cure for all that stuff, because they sent me this pair of heated gloves, heated knees, and a heated vest to combat the cold today. Everything except a heated helmet to keep my brain warm, although that'd be a good idea. Ugh, you can always count on Mother Nature to come rolling in like a tricksy genie. I was like, hey Mother Nature, I want to test some heated gear. Can you help me out with that? And she's like, yep, I can help with that. And then she also rolls in with 3 straight days of rain. Now listen, I've used heated gear before, and some of it works great. And some of it turns into one of those why are only the 2 fingers on the left side of my hand warm type situations. So when they told me these things heat up in 3 seconds, I was like, yeah, sure. And my fat boy gets 65 miles per gallon if I believe hard enough. But here's the thing. I hit the button and I swear I felt heat faster than my wife's voicemail when I texted her I had bought another motorcycle. So today we're going to test out all 3 of these things to see if they're the winter riding miracle that they claim to be, or if they're just wearable lies meant to make me look like a well-insulated marshmallow. But either way, let's warm up, because I'm not letting another winter ride turn my little fingers into frozen chicken nuggets. All right, folks, I've got 3 pieces of heated gear here. Gloves, the warmers of sad, cold fingers everywhere. And then knees, because apparently knees have feelings too. And of course, this RIDEIRON heated vest, which I'm pretty sure is the closest thing legally you can get to being a walking, talking, portable space heater. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. Today I'm gonna break these down like a rider who's been frozen one too many times, which I have. We're talking build quality, comfort, how fast they heat up, how long the battery lasts, and of course how they hold up to that soul-crushing 60-mile-an-hour highway winds in 37 degrees. Because let me tell you, marketing departments love to tell you that you're going to get 6 to 8 hours of heat, and then riders come to find out you get 1 hour of lava, 1 hour of lukewarm, and then 4 hours of meh. All right, before we jump into each piece of gear, let's talk about something that every rider needs to know about heated gear, and that's how it actually works. What all this carbon nanotube, nanofiber jargon really means, and why some heated gear feels really amazing, and why other gear warms the idea of your body and not your body itself. So here's the deal. RIDEIRON is using carbon nanotube technology. And sure, that sounds like something out of Iron Man, but stay with me. Traditional heated gear, you know, the stuff many of us old heads used back in the day, used thin metal wires stretched throughout the fabric. And while that worked, it also meant that if a wire bent too hard, you had a cold spot. If it got kinked, you had a hot spot. And if it broke, congratulations, you now own a $200 electric coat that does absolutely nothing. Carbon nanotube tech is basically the modern fix for all that nonsense. That just means that the heating elements are a thin network of carbon tubes embedded into the fabric. That's what gives you even heating across the entire surface. Faster response, like literally 3 seconds from the time I hit this button. More flexibility, fewer failure points, and no wires poking you. In case you're wondering, everything here is low voltage. We're talking 7.6 volts or a USB power bank for the vest. So no, this isn't going to electrocute you into next Tuesday if you get stuck in a rain shower. Waterproof fabrics plus low voltage equals you're completely safe. And if you're thinking, Salty, can't heated gear fail? Well, yes it can. But when it does, it usually fails to off. It doesn't usually fail to hot pocket mode. So we're safe. If you're new to this whole heated gear world, here's the quick refresher. Your core controls your circulation. You want to keep it warm. Meanwhile, your fingers and knees are the first things that the cold kills. Wind, when moving between 40 and 70 miles an hour, turns nice brisk air into an Arctic blast of sorrow. Heated gear isn't just about feeling hot, it's about preventing shivering. RIDEIRON's claim is that their pieces heat faster, more evenly, and with a longer battery life than most similarly priced heated gear. So that brings us to the fun part. Let's talk about the thing that every rider cares the most about during wintertime, keeping your fingers from becoming popsicles. When your fingers go numb, the ride stops being fun real fast. When I pulled these gloves out of the box, my first thought was, okay, these aren't cheap feeling Amazon special gloves. They're thick, insulated, and feel genuinely rugged. Like they were built for winter riding, not just walking the dog to the mailbox at 6 a.m. You've got reinforced knuckles, a weather-resistant outer shell, a soft inner liner that doesn't feel like sandpaper, and stitching that actually looks like somebody took pride in it. Are these summer gloves? Of course not. They are bulkier, but I can still easily hit turn signals, the horn, high beam switch, even my phone's touchscreen with the finger patch. But do they actually heat fast? And does that heat reach your fingertips? The short answer, yes. Shockingly, yes. Not only do they heat up in the advertised 3 seconds, they also use a 360-degree finger wrap heating design. That means the heating elements go around your fingers, not just the back of your hand, and not just the palm of your hand if you happen to have been relying on heated grips. And that's huge, because at high speeds, the wind hits your hands like a freight train. You get 4 manual heat levels, low, medium, high, and my hands are now officially rotisserie chicken. Plus, a smart automatic mode that adjusts heat based on your environment. Is it perfect? Well, no gear ever is, but I will say this. The auto mode works better than I expected. It didn't bounce around constantly or pick bad temperatures. As for charging, I love that this is both USB and Type-C charging, not some weird proprietary barrel plug thing that you'll never find once it goes into a junk drawer. But let's get to the good stuff. How did these perform in actual riding? I took these out on a cold morning, 38 to 42 degrees, and a 60-mile-an-hour highway stretch that I swear was sponsored by the North Pole. Honestly, they did better than expected. Even at 60 and 65 miles an hour, the gloves kept the heat consistent across my fingers. Attractive button, easy to see colored level indicators to cycle through. You got a long click on, then a single click to cycle through each level, double click from off to go into smart mode, and they're responsive as hell. I had to dig hard to come up with cons on these, but if there are any, I might say that these are thicker than normal non-heated gloves, obviously. And while the touchscreen accuracy works, it's only well enough for quick taps, not writing an essay. Look, if you ride in cold weather, your hands are the first thing that ruin the fun. These gloves didn't just warm my hands, they made winter riding feel normal again. And honestly, that's all you want when it's 40 degrees outside and your breath looks like steam coming off a factory vent. When it comes to the vest, let me tell you, I didn't expect to love this thing as much as I did. The first thing you notice with this vest is the weight, or lack thereof. It's shockingly light. Not like cheap light, more like, wait, is this thing actually gonna keep me warm or is it just pretending? The outer material feels durable without being stiff, and the inside has Thermalock lining that's smooth, flexible, and somehow traps the heat like it's running from the cops. This vest layers pretty cleanly, which is exactly what you want for cold riding. And that 3-second heat up time, once again, not a joke. You hit the button, and before you can say, why is winter still a thing, the vest starts warming your chest and back. You get 3 heat levels, and I found the medium setting to be the just right zone. All right, now, this is a part that I actually was surprised I ended up liking so much. The vest does not come with its own proprietary battery. You gotta use your own USB power bank, which is actually really good. At first, I thought I wouldn't like that it didn't come with its own battery, but this basically means I can use any power bank I want to. I can take extras with me and I can swap them out mid-ride so that this vest can essentially last as long as I have power banks for them. I wore this vest under a textile jacket and once under a hoodie. At 60, it kept my core warm without feeling hot. And at 70 miles an hour booking it down the highway, it still held the warmth, which is especially impressive since the winter wind is trying its absolute hardest to ruin your life at those speeds. And here's why this is key. If your torso gets cold, your body starts sacrificing your fingers like they're extras in a B-level horror movie. That makes this vest more than just a nice to have. It actually helps the rest of your heated gear do its job. I admit it, this vest impressed me more than I expected. It only has 3 heating levels. I would actually have preferred it to have 4, and it doesn't heat the lower torso. This is more of a chest and back focused design, but it's light, flexible, fast heating, and it actually makes a noticeable difference when the temperature dips. I wore it while editing this video and instantly felt like a spoiled house cat laying in a sunny window. When you're riding in cold weather, if there's any one part of your body that moves around the least and constantly takes the wind, it's your knees. That's why these kind of shocked me. They worked so well, I found myself actually missing them when I rode without them later. And here's the part most riders don't realize. Once your knees get cold, your whole lower body goes with them. The joints stiffen, circulation drops, and suddenly shifting gears feels like you're doing yoga in a walk-in freezer. These heated knee pads fix that fast. Out of the box, they look like futuristic orthopedic therapy gear, but in a good way. Soft, flexible, padded where it counts, and wrapped in a windproof, water-resistant shell that clearly means business. And yes, once again, RIDEIRON's 3-second warm-up advertisement proves legit. You put them on, hit the button, and almost instantly your brain goes, oh, this is nice. They've got 4 heat levels, smart auto temp control, and USB plus Type-C charging. I strapped these on over my riding jeans for a morning ride, cold enough for the kind of wind that goes straight through denim like you're not wearing anything at all. It felt like my legs stayed loose, even in the cold. And that's a massive upgrade in comfort and safety. And I thought these would look really goofy, but I'm kind of digging them. Just like the other gear, turning these suckers on gives you clear, bright modes, red, yellow, green, and blue. Honestly, I'd say these were the sleeper hit of the entire review experience. I kind of expected gimmicky or novelty, but what I got was genuine comfort. Honestly, if you ride a bike with exposed knees, these make a huge difference. This is cold weather gear I didn't know I needed, and now I can't believe I rode in winter without it. All right, let's talk battery life, because heated gear marketing loves to promise 6 to 8 battery life hours. So here's the real world breakdown after many different rides and a little scientific poking and prodding in my garage. The gloves run on individual 7.6 volt batteries, and RIDEIRON advertises 4 to 7 hours of runtime. What I got on high was about 3.5 to 4, on medium 5 to 6, and on low it stayed on a solid 7+ hours before the battery ran out. The knees also use a 7.6 volt 3000 mAh battery. Real world results I saw 4.5 to 5 on high, about 6 on medium, and again 7 or 8 on low. Now on the vest, this is dealer's choice because you got to use your own power bank. I tested the vest using 2 different banks, a 10,000 mAh power bank and a 20,000 mAh power bank. On the 10,000 I got 3 hours on high, 4.5 to 5 on medium, and over 6 on low. On a 20,000 mAh power bank, I got 6 hours on high before it keeled out, 8 to 9 on medium, and when I ran it all day on low, basically it did run all day until I just quit riding and it was still going. If you're riding in cool or cold weather, then these systems will last the entire day's ride without any surprises. Is it perfect? No heated gear is. Is it reliable? Yes. Does it last long enough for most real-world winter rides? Absolutely. All right, let's talk about the part that you might have been already scrolling ahead to find, which is price versus value. Because heated gear can easily get expensive enough to make you start questioning your life choices. Heated motorcycle gloves from big name brands can run anywhere from $180 all the way up to $350, with some premium models pushing even higher. And honestly, some of them don't come close to heating your whole hand. These RIDEIRON gloves give you full 360-degree finger heating. At $169.99, they're cheaper than most name brand heated gloves, and they pack in features you normally only see in higher end models. And if you use the links in the description below or the coupon code SaltyOBiker on anything on the entire site, you'll get an additional 10% off. Similarly, heated vests in the motorcycle world are usually a pricey commitment. Gerbing, mobile warming, some of these run $200 to $300 before you even buy the battery pack. This RIDEIRON vest, incredibly lightweight, has very fast heat up, and it easily layers under any jacket for only $119.99 before any discounts. Now let's talk about the weird ones, the heated knee pads. Normally, your only options are expensive heated pants or bulky armored winter pants, or just freezing your knees off like a Thanksgiving turkey in a wind tunnel. These knee warmers are a clever workaround. They fit under or over your existing gear, and they warm the exact area that gets blasted by the wind. They're the wild card, but a surprisingly good one at only $139.99 before any discounts. Honestly, I feel like these offer a lot of value for dollar compared to many of the more expensive alternatives. All right, let's keep the verdict very simple here. Each of these does exactly what heated gear is supposed to do. It heats
fast. And it turns miserable winter riding into something you can actually enjoy again. But more importantly, it does all that without costing you your left arm. Look, if you're on the fence about heated gear, just know this. Cold weather does not have to cut your riding season short. I just hope that this video helps you figure out which heated gear is best for you. So if you enjoyed this breakdown, or if you just appreciate a salty old biker out here freezing his butt off in the name of science, do me a favor. Hit that like so that YouTube knows that people enjoy this kind of content. And drop a comment below letting me know which piece of heated gear you would choose first. I genuinely love reading your all's takes. I mean, sometimes the comments are better than my actual videos. And someone scrolling through the comments is gonna find that stuff helpful, but don't let that go to your head. In the meantime, ride hard, stay salty, and keep those fingers warm.